All right, so I know what you're thinking. The title of this video sounds completely insane. And what I'm not telling you to do is go back to overworking yourself and burning yourself out for the sake of doing the thing that society is telling you you need to be doing on a constant basis. But I had an epiphany this morning that my soft life may be the thing that is slowly killing me. And I want you all to kind of just hear me out and maybe identify in your life if this is the case for you. If it's not, take it with a grain of salt and move on. But if it is, I am really challenging you to take a moment and evaluate, do a personal audit on yourself, on your energy, on the people around you, the environments around you, and even the things that you're consuming and taking in, and question all of it. So I had this epiphany, and it came through, funny enough, this morning. I was watching this video on YouTube. I can't remember the name of the YouTuber right now, but essentially the video was just like talking about, in 6 months, your life can be completely different, and in quotes, if you want it to be, but maybe you don't actually want it to be. And so I listened to this video, and it wasn't so much about what the woman was saying and what she was talking about. I noticed this energy kind of bubble up inside of me. And to me, that was like the most interesting observation out of all of this. So what happened, or what was happening as I was watching this video, I began to feel this like momentous energy rise. I started to feel excited, but also like a little bit competitive, actually. And it actually made me kind of take a step back and notice the moments in my life in which competitiveness was the thing that pushed my needle forward. And so I took that energy and I went to my daily meditation. I have been doing breath work and meditation at this local yoga studio every day, pretty much every day, every morning since February of 2026. And that has brought up so much in me. But today, this specific meditation is a Dharma meditation, and it's a little bit more, I would say, motivation forward. So you come in with your intention, and at the end, you spend a lot of moments identifying and being and sitting within your intention. And I realized the energy from this video, this YouTuber, had carried on into my meditation and had given me this kind of like robustness and push that I really needed within my meditation and my desire that I wanted to focus on for that morning. And when I left the meditation, it was really great. It was like energizing. It was like so focused. And I really felt that I was in my desire. I was in it. And that happens often. This wasn't the only time that this had happened, but I was kind of reverberating off of the energy that this YouTuber, this woman, had left me from her video. And so this allowed me to come into question and identify, or actually it allowed me to remember. So this is still sticking with me. What's going on? And so I then remembered that inside of my body graph, inside of my human design chart, which is something that is also part of like my personal practice, there is the channel for competition. That gate, that channel, sorry if this language is, going over your head and you're not familiar with human design, but if you are, there is a certain gate and channel that is within my body graph, in my chart, that is actually lit up by competition. And so I remembered that, and I was like, maybe that is why this woman has kind of like spurred me into this kind of energy. Maybe there's this like kind of competitive energy that I'm feeling that she's activating within me. And that's a good thing. And I had this kind of like awakening in the car as I was like getting ready to go get my morning matcha. I started Rolodexing all the instances in my life, some more recent than others, in which competitiveness was the thing that got me to where I am today. And it's just so interesting. I am a competitive person. I accept this about myself. I kind of joke about it, actually. There's a joke that I tell to some people that to illustrate how competitive I am. One example is that I have been, every wedding that I have been invited to, I have always caught the bouquet. And it's not because I have some deep desire to be married or anything like that, although that is beautiful and that's nice. Like, no, I want to win. I want to catch the bouquet because I want to be the winner. And I know like that sounds really petty, maybe, and the way how simple that is in my mind. But I think a lot of things are that simple. It's like, I am this, I want this, so this. And that's how our bodies are just kind of like responding to the language and the environments that are happening around us if we are in tuned enough to listen to that information. Because I believe our bodies are oracles and they're always speaking to us. So in that very simple way of me saying like, I am a winner, I want to win, I am going to win, I took that into, I'm about to catch this bouquet. I don't really care like what anyone else has going on. I'm going to get it. And I would get it because I wanted to win. And that has also like translated into environments that I've been in. I think about grad school and going to a top university for art, and how even though my colleagues, my peers, they were so lovely, they are still so lovely. I still keep in touch with some of them, and we, champion for each other's work and hang out with each other. But like, they weren't in themselves competitive, but I kind of planted this competitive seed within myself and used them as a mirror to kind of agitate this energy of competition. And that led me to make great strides in my creative practice. And even in the institution itself, there is an element of competitiveness within the faculty. And some people might say that's unhealthy. That's not good. Like, no one should be competing with anyone. I would push back on that. I would say that actually like makes sure the institution upholds its legacy or its reputation for excellence or greatness, because there is a sense of competitiveness. And so I ask you to think about like, does your environment, do the people around you elicit this energy of excellence? I think about, where I am now in terms of like my working environment, and there is no competitiveness. There's no competitiveness amongst the students, the staff, the institution at all. And in a lot of ways, that has made me very stagnant because I have not felt that energy to kind of like agitate me and motivate me to do better, other than how I motivate myself. And a lot of people would say, well, you should be your own motivator. And yes, I agree. You should always be the one to motivate yourself. But maybe you also need your outside environment to kind of give you pressure, like enforce some pressure upon your life so that you're like, damn, I need to get moving. I need to do these things. And I think in dire contrast of like where we are now in terms of like wellness and spiritual practice is like removing all of those things. I think back to even another instance that I can like tangibly see the results of the competition. So backtrack a few years ago, I had this woman who was a friend of mine, and I told her about these ideas that I wanted to do. Mind you, at the moment, I was unemployed. I had just finished graduate school, unemployed. I was working little odd jobs here and there. I was kind of, teaching on the side and teaching at different like institutions for ceramics and stuff like that, but nothing that was like a substantial amount of money. And I came to this friend who is also a creative, and I told her about this idea that I wanted to get started. And looking back, there was an element of competitiveness within our relationship. It wasn't always healthy, but it was there. And I can acknowledge that now, or see that now. And so I came to her, I told her this idea. I was like, yeah, I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to get this like channel started, and I'm going to like, talk to creatives and all of these things. And she just like jealously, I realize this now, jealously shut it down. She was just like, yeah, that's a cool idea and everything, but like, that's just going to take time. And, you just got to like give yourself space to like move at it at your own pace. And, it's not going to be instant. And that sparked something in me when she said that. I became so agitated by her saying that to me. I literally, the words that came out of my mouth were, that's you. You're talking about you. And in 6 months from now, my life can look completely different. And that is completely dependent on me. And what you're saying doesn't apply to me, basically what I was saying. And I also realized there were moments where she was saying those things because she had not gotten whatever project she was really passionate about off of the ground. But I didn't take that to heart. It was just like, you're talking about you. You're not talking about me. And so by the end of that year, I had received a job that paid me the most I had ever been paid in my life. And so there was something in me was like, literally, bitch, I'm gonna show you. Excuse my French, but it was like, I'm gonna show this woman that like what she's talking about has nothing whatsoever to do with me. And that energy was put out into the universe, and I received that job. And my life was completely different. And my life is completely different from that moment. And then what happened was that the environment shifted. The people in my life shifted. No longer were these elements of agitation present in my life. I had moved into my soft life. And this is the life that everyone wants, right? Like making good money. I was like taking all of these really beautiful solo trips. I'm an avid traveler. I love to travel. That is my favorite thing to do in the whole world. And so I had already been solo traveling, but now I had, more abundance in my life to be able to do that more frequently. And that was amazing. And something that I also realized is in those moments of solo traveling that disturbed my softness, because I'm out here in the world. I'm going to countries where I don't even speak the language. I'm out here as myself, as a solo Black woman, and that is agitating my norm. And I would come back from those trips so motivated and so just like ready, inspired, and so many beautiful creative projects came out of that, and projects that went on to open more doors for me and make me more money. But then I would come back to the softness, and there would be this like element of complacency. It was just like, let me remove all of the moments that are bothering me, frustrating me, annoying me, making me feel anxious. And it was just like, because that was like the common language. It's like, you are here to live a soft life. Like, remove all of this friction out of your life. And fast forward to more recently, I am now seeing the ways in which that has been a part of my downfall. And it's been slowly killing parts of me that are activated, that are lit up by competition, by agitation, by this sense of generative friction. And so I'm learning to pay attention to what gives me energy, and not just what spiritually looks good, but what actually makes me feel alive and prosperous and gets me going in my day-to-day life, and doesn't just like keep me here like a sloth, a really beautiful, comfortable sloth. And yeah, I just think a lot about how spiritual spaces and wellness spaces, they champion these sensations of peace, of flow, of groundedness and softness. But not all of that, not all of those things can actually be beneficial for you and your energy. Yeah, I think there are moments where we need to come down from a huge project that just like we gave so much of our energy or momentum and passion towards. And yeah, we need to step back after that to like give your body a moment to rest. But a body in rest will remain at rest, and a body in motion will continue to be in motion. And so we have to like get ourselves back to give ourselves the momentum and energy to push us forward, to get the thing started and to start the book, start the art project, make the video, do the run, all of those things. Like, they need agitation. They need this type of generative force behind them to move them. And so when we are like subconsciously or even consciously, we are taking away all of these different things that just feel hard and feel challenging, we're also maybe taking ourselves off of our path for our highest good. So really thinking a lot about these environments where people are creating the project, they're doing the research, they're asking the tough questions, they're taking risks, and seeing and witnessing that movement in others creates that movement and momentum in yourself. What happens when we remove ourselves from these places of momentum? And what happens within our core energy when we start saying that that's too much, that's too challenging, I'm living my soft best life, and just settle into softness? So there are these moments of depleting friction, which can look like instability or financial panic, or even being in an emotionally, physically, mentally abusive relationship, work or otherwise. Or maybe it's even environments that are constantly requesting of you to prove your worth as opposed to trusting and valuing your worth. And then there are forms of generative friction, which could be ambition, creative ideas being passed around the table. It can even look like people who disagree with you intellectually that spur you to have these like philosophical and challenging conversations. And then, of course, it's people who you witness them. They have their lives together. They're like taking not the easy road. They're doing the work, feet on the ground. They're doing it. And that puts a fire underneath you. It's like, damn, I need to get my stuff together. I need to be doing more. I need to be showing up in bigger and better ways for myself. And I think sometimes as we are very consciously removing that first pillar of friction that is really harmful from our lives, we are also subconsciously removing the type of friction that is generative, that is positive for us to get to that next chapter and that next place that we want to be in our lives. And so I think a lot about like, maybe it's not always inviting in this language of softness, flow, ease, and just laying back. Like sometimes the energy that needs to be invited is, oh, bitch, watch me. Watch me pull off this thing that you think I am not capable of. I now know that it's because I am inherently competitive, and that's not a bad thing. And maybe you are too. And I would invite you to not ignore that and to not try to dampen that or to feel like you're a bad person because you're competitive and that you want something better or that you need that type of energy around you. Where I am now in my life, I am realizing that I am only being competitive with me and not in a good way. There's no one around me that is competing with me or that I feel that is energizing or bringing forth this energy of competitiveness. And now I see that that is not a great thing for me. And of course, like there are different moments and seasons in our life where I may not need that energy and I do just need to be in softness. And in a lot of ways, my body has been telling me to be in softness, and that's valuable information to go forward. But there's like different places for that energy. It doesn't have to like cover your whole life. I can set boundaries, be soft, give myself grace, give myself this like momentous energy of healing and of stillness while also feeling ready, feeling excited, and feeling like I'm lit up from within to do that next thing that's gonna bring me actually probably more space to be soft and to be abundant and abundantly whole within my desire, and to be able to hold that with confidence and not hold onto it with fear that it's gonna run away from me, if that makes sense. And so, yeah, it's not really about like, how do I stop being competitive, but how and where in my life can I bring in these spaces for healthy friction? From that one YouTube video, I'm going to find it and I'm going to put it somewhere here, maybe in the bottom. But yeah, I want to thank that woman because something in her, the way that she was like speaking, it motivated me. And I was just like, wow, okay, this is something that is necessary in my life, and it's not a bad thing. It's actually going to get me to where I want to be. It's actually going to bring me this deeper sense of peace within me, which I think is so interesting. And yeah, when I think about intentionally building healthy friction, there needs to be ambitious people in my life. there also needs to be, you know, in my intimate relationships, like my partner has to be equally yoked in their competitive nature. If they're not, that allows me to rest into sloth mode. And looking back, that is what has been the case when I think about those relationships. Yes, we want people around us that make us feel safe, make us feel valued, but sometimes people who are around you, they're lacking fire. They're lacking ambition. They're lacking a getty up, you know, in their energy. And that could be the thing that's holding you back. That could be, you know, they could be well-meaning and love you and want the best for you, and they're not doing it in a malicious way, or a lot of times in a conscious way, because they're thinking that they're holding space for you and wanting to be gentle with you, but they're actually just like, they're not helping you move forward. And I invite you to ask that question of the individuals, the institutions, the corporations, the businesses, all of it, the environments that you just place your body in. How are they activating you? Are they activating you in this purposeful way? Are they challenging your assumptions? Or you putting yourself in rooms where excellence is the norm? Or are you playing it safe because you want to be soft and you want to be taken care of? Those things are valuable, they're needed and necessary, but everything in moderation. So when I speak about friction, I'm not speaking about overworking yourself to the point of depletion. I'm not even talking about frenemies. I'm not talking about enemies or negative comparisons to the people that you see on social media or that are a part of your life, but I'm simply talking about friction. And so, yeah, I invite you to examine that, what it means for you, where you are in this moment, in this season of your life, and what your body is telling you about friction, about competition, and about your inner fire as well. Friction is not always negative. Friction is not always bad. Sometimes it can be the thing that enlightens you. Thank you for listening to this video, and I invite you to stick around for more. I am just starting this channel and trying to figure out in what ways it makes sense for me. I feel like it's an experiment. It's a playful experiment, and I can be completely honest about that. I don't have it figured out. None of us have it figured out. We're all just making it up as we go. And so I'm just gonna hold on to the playfulness of like my inner child and just do the thing. And if you're interested in seeing how that evolves, I invite you to subscribe to my channel. I also invite you to maybe comment below if you have noticed, or maybe in ways in which competitiveness and healthy friction have helped you get to the next level of your life, but also I think have helped you give yourself grace and just gratitude. I feel this immense feeling and sensation of gratitude for the contrast of that friend doubting my idea, the contrast of the work environment where it's not like bringing out my best energy. I'm eternally grateful for that, just as I am grateful for that YouTuber sharing her point of view. All of that is information for my body to decode and decipher, for me to be able to like speak this out to you now. And so I invite you to give gratitude to the moments where friction has gotten you to this next place in your life, and share those observations with the community here and with the people down in the comments. And maybe that will like give people some ideas and like, oh damn, yeah, that has happened for me. I think that would be really interesting and inspiring for all of us to witness. So my name is Iman Dio, and thank you for being here. Thank you for listening, and I hope to see you soon. Peace.